Everyone, and welcome to our class. I'm glad to see you all here today. We're beginning our journey into research methods, and this first session will lay the foundation for everything that follows. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to understand what we mean by research, explain the purpose of research, identify the key characteristics that make research scientific and credible. We're starting here because many students often ask, what exactly is research? Or why is research called systematic? Today, we'll break down those questions carefully so you can develop a solid understanding before we move into later topics such as data collection, analysis, and interpretation. Let's start with the word itself. Research comes from two parts, re and search. The prefix re means again, and search means to look for something. So, research literally means to look again. This doesn't mean we're repeating work unnecessarily. It means we're building on what already exists. Someone before you may have studied a topic, but new situations, new contexts, or new technologies might require us to look again with fresh eyes. Think of research like cleaning a window. The first person wipes away the dust, but with time, new dirt gathers. The next person cleans again, perhaps with a better method. Each cleaning improves visibility. In the same way, research helps us see the world more clearly each time we look again. So research is not just about finding facts. It's about generating new understanding or improving existing knowledge in a structured and logical way. Now that we know what research means, let's talk about what triggers it. A research problem. Research problem isn't necessarily a crisis or something bad. In research, a problem means there's an unanswered question, a missing piece in our understanding, or a situation that hasn't been fully explained. We often define a research problem as the gap between what is known and what needs to be known. For example, imagine you're studying the effects of online learning on students' academic performance. There's already a lot of literature about online learning in developed countries. But what about rural colleges in your country where internet access is unstable? That gap, the difference between global knowledge and local experience, is your research problem. Another simple example, if government health reports show that vaccination coverage is high nationally, but local clinics still experience outbreaks, there's a gap worth investigating. Why do the statistics not match the local reality? That's a research problem. Research begins when you identify such a gap that needs to be examined systematically. We conduct research for one main reason, to solve problems or answer questions. We don't go to the field simply to see what happens. We go with a specific issue in mind. You do research because a problem exists, not to discover whether one might exist. Let's use a simple analogy. When you visit a doctor, you don't ask the doctor to guess what's wrong. You describe your symptoms first. The doctor then runs tests and proposes a solution. Similarly, in research, you already have an issue identified, say, low agricultural yields in your region, and your study seeks to understand why that is happening and what could be done about it. Research is purposeful. It starts with a question and ends with evidence-based answers. There are three important ideas that every student must grasp early on. Research exists because there is a problem. There's always a driving issue, an educational gap, a social challenge, a policy concern, or a technical limitation. Research gives us a structured way to investigate that issue. Research is problem-driven, not topic-driven. Many students begin by saying, I want to write about leadership, or I want to study climate change. But a topic alone isn't enough. You must identify a problem within that topic. For instance, what specific leadership practices improve teacher motivation in public secondary schools? Now you have a focused issue to explore. A research problem must be supported by documented evidence. You can't base a study on rumors, opinions, or casual observations. You need credible sources, reports, statistics, policies, or previous studies that highlight the existence of the problem. That's what gives your research legitimacy. Suppose a Ministry of Agriculture report states that farmers are receiving subsidized fertilizer to increase productivity. However, new data shows yields haven't improved in certain counties. That's a documented gap. You could develop a study titled Factors Influencing the Effectiveness of Government Fertilizer Subsidy Programs in County X. This topic emerges from verified information, not personal opinion. You've connected what is known, government claims of subsidy effectiveness, to what still needs to be known, why yields remain low. That's how genuine research begins, with a documented issue that requires further inquiry. Now we can define research more precisely. Research is a systematic, objective, and evidence-based process used to investigate a problem, answer a question, or generate new knowledge. Let's unpack that. Systematic means it follows organized steps. Identifying a problem, reviewing literature, collecting data, analyzing results, and drawing conclusions. Objective means you rely on facts and data, not personal opinions or biases. Evidence-based, scientific means conclusions are supported by verifiable information, not assumptions. In short, research is a disciplined process of asking, investigating, and answering. Without understanding the concept and purpose of research, it's difficult to carry out any academic project effectively. If you skip this foundation, you'll struggle later when formulating questions, choosing methods, or interpreting results. Think of it like building a house. You can't start with the roof. You must first understand the ground, the plan, and the structure. The same applies to research. A clear understanding of what research is and why it matters forms the base for everything else. Before we close today's class, let's summarize. Research means searching again for better understanding. A research problem is the gap between existing knowledge and what still needs to be known. We do research because a problem exists. It is always problem-driven, not topic-driven. Research must be documented, systematic, objective, and evidence-based. In our next session, we'll move on to discuss the purpose and characteristics of research in more detail, looking at how these principles guide every step of the research process.